Hello again, it's Crew Call here on the Motor Racing Network, taking you into the garage and talking to the folks that make the race cars go around the racetracks. We are so glad that you have joined us, and if you enjoy what you are hearing or seeing here on Crew Call, we would ask that you share, like, rate, review, whatever your platform allows you to do, spread the gospel, and we would be grateful for that. We have a great time here and feel like we have some great conversations with some of our crew chief and competition directors, and we would love you to share the Crew Call gospel if you choose to do so. We do appreciate it. I'm Steve Post, pit road reporter for Motor Racing Network, joined by 25-time and championship-winning crew chief Todd Gordon. Hello, Todd. How are you?
I'm good. Coming off a great weekend of racing at Richmond Raceway.
That might be the dumbest question I've ever asked you. Coming off Richmond, strategy, tire.
I love Richmond, and everybody talks about Richmond not being a good race. I think it's a great race. I think Goodyear only added to it this year.
Yeah.
And bringing the, we did that whole thing last year. We brought the option tire. It was a good test bed. They brought it back as a primary. We talked to the crew chiefs in the garage. Everybody was screaming about, we need more tires.
No, they didn't.
Nah, I think it was a good show.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because in the here and now, the option seemed like a short-term juice things up a little bit. No, it wasn't. It was a side-by-side test bed. It was an A-B test bed that has allowed Goodyear now to find a really good tire for Richmond and going forward.
You look at this tire. We kind of introduced this tire at Martinsville fall race last year. It was really good.
Yep.
We took it to Bowman Gray. Every place, we said we couldn't put on good racing there. It was phenomenal.
The racing at the stadium was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and we've had it at North Wilkesboro. Pretty darn good show. Like, Goodyear's done really good things to help the racing program. And when you can build a tire that has lap time fall off, that just loses grip, that doesn't go shredding itself or anything else, it just loses grip as you abuse it. And we saw teams that abused it and made frontside speed. We saw teams that didn't have frontside speed but held on in the long run. And then we saw teams that kind of risked on stage one, staying out, not stopping, because I just think the whole weekend was really well executed from NASCAR and Goodyear standpoint, and the teams adapted.
I love when I get back to the hotel room and have a big old self-inflicted strategy race headache. And I don't mean headache exhaustion.
Yes.
Just like, oh my God, I am so sick of walking up and down and counting tires and who used scuffs and who didn't use this and who's on this and who's on that. And I absolutely love those races. I really do. I enjoy it. And another entity that enjoys it, especially at Richmond, is Austin Dillon and Richard Childress Racing. What a performance!
Yes. And I think I'm going to sideline a little bit here. I think we just should be celebrated.
I agree.
We go to road courses and we celebrate SVG's prowess and what he's able to do. This is 2 years in a row. Austin Dillon's done the same thing. Now, everybody will look back at last year and say, well, he wrecked everybody. If you look before that caution came out, he had almost a 4-second lead on the field doing the same thing as he did this year. Long run speed late in the race. He understands what he needs out of his race car to be good at that point. He was. Unfortunately, he didn't execute the restart very well and ended up in all the debacles last year. Didn't happen this year. He understands. And let's keep in mind, different tire, different crew chief.
Yep.
I think Austin Dillon should be celebrated for what he's figured out at Richmond Raceway.
We chatted in Victory Lane, and he said, I know the feel I need at Richmond. I know what I need. To me, the thing that's even more impressive is he seems to know the feel he needs at lap 10 to be really, really good at lap 350.
Yeah.
And that's impressive to me.
Yeah, because lap 10, he's not the dominant car.
Right.
It's just sorting out where he needed to be. Mm-hmm. Stat that came up during the race, I need to put it out there.
I love this one.
This is the first time the 3-car has led more than 100 laps in a race since the 1998 Daytona 500.
Ooh, man. Wow.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive. And Richard Boswell, what a great call. Drove up there side by side. They put on a heck of a battle, he and Ryan Blaney, for the lead. And when he cleared him, he pitted him. Which got him on the front side got him the lead in the jump on the cycle.
Because of the laps, he was able to run a couple of laps on the newer tires.
Blaney stayed out 4 more laps, came out 7.5 seconds behind him. Never made it up.
And then I think Austin did a good job managing those tires in the first few laps, because you want to go like the skinny kid at the go-kart track. And Austin really managed that. Yeah. But what that did is that put Blaney in the situation that everybody's in at the road course, where you burn your own tires off trying to track down, at road courses it's trying to track down SVG. At Richmond, burned the tires off trying to track down Austin.
Yep. Yeah, it's just one of those
Whole
situations.
strategy in the way Boswell and Dillon. I agree with you on Austin and Richard Boswell. What a performance!
And Richard Boswell's become the clutch crew chief for wins, right? 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
one with Eric Amarola last year at Darlington in the cutoff.
Chase Briscoe.
Eric Amarola. Boy, I'm going back away. Chase Briscoe. Yes.
Yeah. At Darlington, the last race.
Darlington, last race, cutoff race. Then comes to the second to last race here with Austin Dillon. Gets it done here.
Boswell go to Daytona, won't even know what to do. He won't even know. I mean, the life of leisure and luxury, you know. So fun stuff. I do want to give an attaboy to Team Penske. What a performance. First time since New Hampshire in 2021, put all three cars in the top five. Blaney and Hassler third, Logano and Wolf fourth, Cindric and Wilson fifth, and honorable mention to Barry and Miles Stanley eighth with the Wood brothers. Great outing. Here we go.
It's getting to be about playoff time, isn't it? Time for Penske to get kind of lined up and buttoned up.
Yeah.
Impressive. And probably the most impressive run out of that to me, there's two. I think Austin Cindric put a solid race, the whole race together. They seemed
I felt terrible during that race. I had Austin Cindric's pit.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like, I need to do something on this. I need to do something on it. There was so much going on.
Yeah.
You just, a solid fifth place run. Yeah. A solid fifth place run in a race like that, you don't get much attention, but it was a solid fifth place. They were good all night long.
Joey Logano ran something over, had a punctured tire, and ended up hitting the wall in practice, started scratch on the field, had right front suspension change, right rear suspension change, and drove up to a top five finish. And Ryan Blaney, when I had him as a driver, I would say he said this is his least favorite racetrack. Yeah. He's kind of figured it out now.
Kind of has figured it out. Yes. That is for sure. Somebody that has a lot of things figured out is Chris Gabehart. He is the director of competition from Joe Gibbs Racing. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Chris about all things JGR. Stay with us.
The NASCAR channel is available now on Tubi. Tell them we got it. 24/7 news, documentaries, with access to the exclusive NASCAR Vault. The NASCAR channel, always on, always free, only on Tubi.
Welcome back. It is Crew Call here on the Motor Racing Network. Let's get to it. Joe Gibbs Racing, Chris Gabehart, director of competition. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Doing well, guys. Thanks.
Chris, we're going to Daytona. You got three locked in. You got one you're trying to get locked in. Competition director, how do you manage this to try to get everything out of Saturday night and maybe get that fourth car locked in?
Well, certainly Daytona is a style of track as a super speedway that you have the least amount of control over what happens from lap to lap, but there are still very important parts of the race that you have to execute really well and focus on, and that'll be the key for not only the 54 but all of the Toyota camp and super speedway racing's case, to focus on the things that they can control and try to execute them to the highest level, and then see where it all shakes out.
Yeah, it's and since you've gotten, I just want to go a little more personal here, but since Briscoe won at Pocono, you took a little more focused effort into the 54 program as a competition director. How close are they to winning?
Well, I think the 54 team's in a really unique spot where they are flashing capability of doing so. I don't think they're consistently there yet. I think to be a consistent weekly winner like the 11 might be, or the 5 or the 20 or some of the 12, you've got to be constantly, resting around that fifth place spot, whether it be third, fifth, seventh. Now you get a good restart, good pit stop, front row restart comes from all that, and bit, bam, boom, next thing you know, you're winning the race. They're not there consistently, but definitely moving in the right direction. And while some of the results haven't shown it the last couple of weeks, they are finding themselves in that conversation more and more.
I want to talk about the crew chief on that program, Tyler Allen. You elevated him from the Xfinity Series, and you're sharing some of the pit box duty. How is Tyler doing? Because that is a huge, significant jump from Xfinity to the Cup Series.
It is, and it was done in a challenging set of circumstances over the offseason where there was a lot of change on that team, and you're dealing with the youngest driver, and he's still trying to find his way week in and week out. I mean, as you guys know, 38 weeks in this is a grind. So not only for the driver, but for a new crew chief, how do you manage your week to week? How do you manage that grind? You don't get those Sundays off anymore that he was accustomed to, and all the things that come with that. And that really can take a toll. So, with me in this role, it's just, I won't say unique, but it's a little bit new to Joe Gibbs Racing of recent years to have someone to help guide him through all of that from a crew chiefing perspective. And that's what I've been trying to do.
All right, I'm going to sidetrack where we were going to go. As you stepped into your role, it's kind of a different role and one that really wasn't fulfilled at Joe Gibbs Racing. Where do you see it? And I guess I want to ask the question, what didn't you expect out of the role of competition director that you've had an impact with?
Well, probably the if there was anything unexpected about it, it would just be, trying to balance wearing the two hats, where really thinking like a crew chief on the 54 a lot to help Tyler and the group navigate that, and now evolving it to an ad on the top of the box from a strategic perspective. That's kind of not common in the NASCAR ranks, although very common in the IndyCar ranks.
Mm-hmm.
So, that evolution is something that I didn't foresee coming, just because it's not normal per se in NASCAR. But I certainly, now that I'm living it, and I think there's a lot of positives from it that the 54 can take, and that's just part of the job is trying to evolve towards your strengths and shore up your weaknesses, and that's what I'm trying to do.
54 car with a new combination this year. The 19 team, a new combination this year. A little bit more experience. Chase Briscoe and James Small. From where I sit, it looks like this thing is perking along pretty good. What's the take from where you're at with this team, Chris?
Yeah, I think that's been, probably one of the largest unknowns coming into the year, with so many changes on the team, and then Chase Briscoe, a major change on the driver's side. And not only a change on the driver's side, but a change in the driver philosophy. Martin was a very seasoned veteran and really I won't say didn't need to be there throughout the week, because maybe he did, but he certainly wasn't. Whereas the team has constant access with Chase, a different engineer, different car chief. It's just that team has really evolved their whole process a lot this year. And I firmly believed at the beginning of the year, and still did, that the upside is higher for that team than most realize. It was just going to be a matter of channeling it in the right direction and get it all to click. And, while we still have 11 races to go and 10 of them are the most important of the year, they're certainly showing the potential of being able to do just that. And that's exciting to watch.
Yeah, you have to really enjoy the really Pocono on. It almost seemed like Pocono to me kind of was a weight off the shoulders, and you see them race, just be able to put races together. The chemistry is continuing to kind of build with these two as they go forward. It's impressive. The most seasoned pairing you've got, Christopher Bell, Adam Stevens, started the season out 3 consecutive wins. Kind of had a little bit of a lull. Where do you see that program I feel championship caliber. Where do you see them heading into the playoffs?
Well, they're explosive. We've seen it time and time again from that group, getting hot at the right time and really just able to capitalize on any given moment, any given week. So, they've definitely hit a stretch here where that's not happened, but the performance has been there. They were running second at Watkins Glen. Mm-hmm. Every road course this year that we won COTA as a company, and we've ran second every other road course so far this year, Bell having done it twice. So certainly the road course program's been good. Bell's a big part of that. At Dover, he's really fast, leading the race, spun out, trying to pass his teammate for the win, and was super courteous in doing that, and ultimately cost himself spinning out again. But I say all that to say, I think the performance is there. And Todd, as you know, the performance is what you really have to measure, because the results can be really, really fickle. And that team's just got to stay the course, and I think they'll be just fine.
When we look at the 11 team, Chris, to me, you were crew chief on the team, and to break up a successful pairing, you knew who you had with Chris Gale because he had a long tenure with the company. But first and foremost, how much of a gamble was this to break up a good pairing for you to take your new role with the company?
It's easy for me to say it, and it's even easier to say it in hindsight, but I didn't view it as much of a gamble at all. And it was because of a few key decisions and good conversations to get buy-in. But the reality is nothing at all on that 11 team changed except for the crew chief. And my message to Gale was to use that to your strength. The 11 team works really, really well. Its way of doing things works well. So go in, look around, and evolve to the way of doing things while taking notes. and then you tell the team and the driver to do the same thing. Nothing about the team changing. The process works really, really well. Adhere to the process, believe in the process, and then let this new leader come in, look around for a little bit, and start to sprinkle in some things over time that might make the team even better because of the newness of perspective. You just bring a key ingredient in and you change it, and over time, you can move it in a better spot if you do it tactfully, if you don't do it just haphazardly. And they've done a really, really good job of doing that. And lo and behold, they're as good or better than they were. And I really do think that comes down to the way they went about doing it. So I'm quite proud of that group.
How much do you still kind of interact with that group as you going forward? I mean, that separation from that being your team and now being competition director I kind of see it. I wonder if it's kind of like where I was at, because there were a lot of guys that I had that Travis Geisler had as crew chief. And when he moved to competition director, I still had them. It was additive because I had his influence and my influence kind of pulling in the same direction. Do you feel that way as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's inevitable. Every member on that team is exactly the same. So you can't help but be closer to them and have different relationships with them because you spent so many years with them in the trenches. And that team, I just have the pulse of it the best. I know how they work. I look over their shoulder and see the paperwork. It all looks the same. You know how the engineers think. You know how the car chiefs think. You know how Denny thinks, the spotter. So for me, I would say that team needs the least amount of maintenance from me, simply because it's easy for me to quickly look over a shoulder, say a sentence or two, whatever it might be, and they all understand it. They all get it. And where Gail's concerned, I kind of laugh. They didn't get the result they wanted this past weekend at Richmond, but right before the race, I kind of told Gail with Denny close by, I said, enjoy it, Gail, enjoy the ride here, because, you got Denny Hamlin at Richmond, and the team's been so locked in at Richmond for so long now. I just know in my gut. I know looking at the setup sheet, I know about his comments post-practice. I just knew what they were going to have. So that really is helpful where the 11 team is concerned, and me being able to interject a little bit when needed, kind of effortlessly, really.
So as you look at this with Denny, we've seen like Denny Gold this year at times. Just he gets out. This team seems like they just are unstoppable. And then we have a race or two that seem like, and I don't know if they're just trying because you're so good, like off. But building. It seems like Denny always elevates when the opportunity's in front of him. You have to feel good about where is Denny, from a company standpoint, where is Denny building into this playoff?
I mean, I think he's in a good spot. I think he's clearly, he wanted to go into this year proving that, hey, he could be just as strong as ever, even with a big change. I think that's healthy. Mm-hmm. That perspective is really healthy. I think the team has bought in the right way and started to build their sea legs kind of accordingly, given the change. I think everybody navigated that well. The one chink in Denny and the 11 team's armor, of course, is road course racing. And because there's so many of them, it can break up momentum throughout the year when you really have a struggle at a certain track. Mm-hmm. Fortunately for Denny, he's very keenly aware of his strengths and his weaknesses, and I don't think he lets it affect him too much. But really that is their only weakness, is just trying to keep that momentum rolling through your weak spots and understand how strong the team really is.
Chris, we started this out by talking Daytona, the kind of here and now in the present, but when we get done at Daytona, we go Darlington, Worldwide Technology Raceway, Bristol, round one of the playoffs. You'll have 3, maybe 4 cars in it. Just kind of the state of Joe Gibbs Racing as you get ready to go playoff racing. What's your level of confidence?
Well, I mean, you just named a lot of great tracks for us, and I think Loudon comes after that, and then Kansas. So it's just a lot of really, really good tracks. But so I feel confident that we can win and make a deep run and really rack up, quite a memorable season for us, and that's great because that the performance capability is there. But the reality is it will all come down to execution. And while that's such an easy and cliche thing to say, it really is one of the very hardest things to do. So, we just got to keep our head down and focus on executing week in and week out. That's going to be the key.
As in my era, which is pre-Gen 7 or whatever the car that we have now, you always kind of had this development cycle that was working towards bringing new stuff to the playoffs because we'd find advantages that way, right?
Yeah.
Can you do that with this car, or is it just kind of refining the processes you're continuing on?
I would say it's way more process driven than it's ever been versus, holding back key development initiatives. There's certainly way less development to be had. Not that there's none, but you can't unlearn things, right? So this car has forced a real focus on process and procedure. And that's something that we're consistently working towards. So I would say the key is, and when you're really gelling well as a unit, you know those things and you keep doing what works and refining what doesn't. And I think that'll be a focal point for us heading into the playoffs.
Well, we'll see what happens with it. That's for sure. Playoffs get done. Chris, I know you're one of your passions is super late model racing, but you and I chatted. You've been off the Snowball Derby program because of family. Are you off the Snowball Derby program this year, or are you going to sneak back down to Pensacola?
Well, I think I'm probably going to be off of it, but I can tell you that Ryan Preece has been building the new car and he's been twisting my arm a lot. So I don't think he's gonna win, but man, the racer in me sure would love to go. I do love everything about that event and those kind of cars. They're a ton of fun. So I wish there was more time in a day, but that's just the reality of being a grown up, unfortunately.
Yeah, I hear you. Same scenario here with all kinds of things as well. Chris, we appreciate the time and wish you well in Daytona and on throughout the playoffs. We'll see you at the racetrack.
All right, thanks, guys. I enjoyed it. See you soon.
Chris Gabehart from over at Joe Gibbs Racing. Stay with us. More crew call in just a moment.
3, 2, 1, start your engine.
The NASCAR channel is streaming now, exclusively on Tubi.
Tell them we got it.
Go deeper into NASCAR with 24/7 news, documentaries, and explore the vault of timeless NASCAR stories and unforgettable races. From crushing defeats to the thrill of victory.
Go, baby.
The NASCAR channel, always on, always free. Only on Tubi.
Welcome back. It is Crew Call here on the Motor Racing Network. Love visiting, whether it's here on Crew Call or in the garage area. Chris Gabehart is just one of our guys.
One of my go-to guys in the garage because he is so in-depth and thoughtful of what's going on. Really gives you a better picture of it. And as he did there, I think he's a great asset to JGR, all teams being off the pit box of the 11 box.
I think so, too. It's really been a good move for everybody over there. When we saw it, I think Denny and the rest of us were a little shocked about it, but it turns out it seems to be working really, really well. Daytona this weekend, the playoff picture, we've got Reddick and Bowman in racing against each other. Someone bumps up. I mean, this is going to be crazy.
Yes. What is it? 29 points between
29 points. Yes.
Reddick and Bowman. Bowman has got 60 points on Chris Buescher,
right? Yeah.
Which I think Bowman has the tiebreaker too. I'm not positive but I think he does because he's got 2 second place finishes and Buescher's got 1. I think that's the way it goes. Don't hold me to that. But this is a race that I feel like, and I talked earlier this week with Letarte on Inside the Race. I don't think it's a coin toss on whether we have a new winner or not, but I think it's a 30% chance. Mm-hmm. I think it's a 1 in 3. When you look at it, there's 8 Speedway winners below the cut line.
Right.
We flip-flopped. I thought it was 9, but it's 8 because Austin Dillon was one of my 8, and he went in.
Well,
Chris Buescher's below it now.
Right. There's 7 Daytona winners.
Yeah.
7 Daytona, 8 plate races. Yes.
I put Daniel Suarez in there because he's won at
Atlanta. Exactly.
And so there's a lot of opportunity there, and it's going to be interesting how this plays out. A little different being a 400-miler.
Yeah.
The first stage is 35 laps. That's a fuel window. That's within a fuel window, so we'll all race hard for that one. And I think there's a lot of different, if I can win the stage, that's a playoff point. That if I'm in, that's worth it. If I'm in a good position, it's going to be a little risk on. Second stage is a fuel window.
Yeah,
you've got to break it with a fuel stop. How much fuel do you save? And last year at one of these races, we saw Toyota actually decide we're not going to go on the fuel save. We're going to pit and we're going to go hard, and they did, but they ended up with a mishap there. But let's see how the strategies play out. Second stage is 60 laps, the third stage 65. Neither one of those you can make on fuel. So how this plays out and how it rolls out at the end, so many things that are, there's the race for winning if you're below the cut line.
Right.
There's a race for 5 bonus points. And if you look, second to sixth in points is 23 points.
There's a lot can change there.
And that's like 5 bonus points. That just through that. Second's 10, third is 8, fourth is 7. Like it's, you could bump yourself 5, eventually 5 bonus points forward or backwards. So I think there's a lot that can happen within this race. Not to mention just the chaos of winning you're in.
Yeah, exactly. So crazy stuff. It really truly is. Daytona is going to be fun this weekend. Motor Racing Network in Daytona Beach, Florida. 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon, the NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying. Friday night, 7 o'clock, NASCAR Xfinity Series, the Wawa 250 powered by Coca-Cola. 3 races left in the regular series for the Xfinity Series. And on Saturday, 6:30 Eastern Time, NASCAR Cup Series Coke Zero Sugar 400 from the World Center of Racing. It's going to be awesome.
You're giving the teams an idea that they aren't going to. It's going to be a Cup qualifying show. There's no practice to it.
Oh, that's right. Cup qualifying. I wondered why it was shorter. No, Cup qualifying. Just gas them up and go.
Unload them. Put them on the line. See how fast they are.
Hey, what do you expect? One of the things I wanted to talk to Chris about, but we just ran out of time. July versus February, and how is this track aging?
I feel like, when it's hot like this, you've got to put a little more handling in your race car. And not necessarily does the pole winner win a race.
Right.
Most of the times they don't. There's a balance there between just the all-out speed.
Mm-hmm.
All-out speed will win Talladega. At Daytona, we're getting to the point this surface is starting to age, and especially the summertime, there's more heat in the asphalt. I know we'll have the afternoon chance of thunderstorms because that's what Florida is this time of year. If it rains out and ends up being on Sunday, you're going to need a lot of handle in your race car.
Man,
I don't think that'll happen, but it's just those are the things that, as a crew chief, you have to think of watching the weather and how much you're going to build into it. And you're trying to forecast that 4 or 5 days ahead of time because we've got to build all those things into our car before it goes into the truck at the shop.
Well, the good news is Postman and Crew Call said you had practice. No, you don't have practice. No, there's the challenge is building it in the race car before it leaves the shop.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, and we'll see some guys that don't qualify well that will drive their way straight forward at the beginning of the race. It's a great show.
Great show, that is for sure. We appreciate Chris Gabehart joining us from over at Joe Gibbs Racing, but more important than all of that, thank you for joining us this time here on Crew Call on the Motor Racing Network.